Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Zulfa Saputra and my friend Hanifa Lauda Sahari and Aqsa Fadillah fiqri. We're from Group 9. In the beautiful day, we can learn expressing past tense second part. And then, let's move on the video.
Okay, here I want to explain about expressing past time. Okay, what time? What time usually asks for a specific time on a clock. And then the answer to when can various expression of time. Okay, example question and short answer. Can see the exercise 2? Okay. Number 1. Where blah 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 go, and number 2, why blah 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 go there, and 3, when or what time blah 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 live. Okay, number 1, where did Rosa go? And the answer will be she went to Hawaii. And number 2, why did Rosa go there? And the answer, because they went for a vacation. And 3, when or what time did Rosa leave? And the answer will be Rosa travel plans leave at 2 p.m. I continue. Question with what? Okay, what is used in a question when you want to find out about a thing? And if you want to determine, can from the formula like subject plus verb plus object. Example, Carol bought a car. Okay, Carol is a subject and verb is verb, a car is object. Okay, if you want to make a question, the object word in front. What did Carol buy? And what is object? And did plus verb. Carol is subject. Buy is verb. Okay, example question. Did you buy a new TV? Yes, I did book a new TV. And then question with who and whom. Okay, who is used to ask question of people, and then whom is used in formal English as the object of a verb or preposition. Okay, can you see the exercise? Okay, number 1. Alan called you. Alan visited you. Call. Alan started with you. Call. Okay. A. Who called you? Call. Alan. And B. Who visited you? Call. Alan. And who started with you? Call. Alan. And D. Who did Alan call you? Call. Who did Alan visited you? Call. And A. Who did Alan started with you? Call.
And now, simple past tense irregular verb group 5. Example is cost. Gasoline costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money. And next, simple past tense irregular verb group 6. Example is fell, feel, rain, fell. Sometimes people fell. Yesterday, I fell down. And next, simple past tense irregular verb group 7. The example is hold, held. I often hold my book open when I teach. Yesterday, I held my book open when we practice grammar. And the next is before and after in the time clause. How do you see the picture? A picture is example of time clause. A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a verb. A main clause is a complete sentence example. The example is A. A is complete sentence. Example B is an incomplete sentence. It must be connected to a main clause, as in C and D. A time clause began with a time word such as before and after. Before plus subject plus verb is a time clause. The example is before I went to class. After plus subject plus verb is a time clause. The example is after we finish our work. A time clause can come after a main clause. As in C and E, a time clause can come before a main clause. As in D and F, there is no difference in meaning between C and D or between E and F. Before and after don't always introduce a time clause. They are also used a preposition followed by a noun object as in G and H.
9.8. When in a time clause. When can introduce a time clause with when, subject, verb, and a time clause. When is also used to introduce a question. A question is a complete sentence. Exercise 39. Number 2. When you were in Ireland. That is non-complete. And when were you in Ireland? That is explain a question. Exercise 40. Combine two words in column A and column B and become one sentence. I took two example. Number 5. Adam was a soccer player when he was in high school. Number 6. When the rain stopped, I closed my umbrella. Exercise 41. Use the given word to make a simple question and a simple past tense clause. Take an example. For number 2, when leave you. So I make a sentence A. When did I leave you? Sentence B. When you were leave me. Exercise 42. Complete the sentence with the correct time. Number 1. Now I'm studying grammar, but yesterday I wasn't studying grammar at afternoon. Now, and number 2. Now I am not sleeping, but last night I was sleeping at my cousin's house. Past progressive use the past form of be, was, and were plus in. Exercise 43. Complete grammar and speaking class activity. Completing each sentence with the correct form of verb and parentheses. I'm gonna take one example. Number 3. Rosa played her guitar for an hour yesterday morning. She started to play her guitar at 9:30. She stopped at 10:30. Mike arrived at her apartment at 10. At 10, Rosa was playing her guitar. Exercise 44. Let's talk class activity. Making a situation. So I'm gonna explain. Mr. and Mrs. Gold were sleeping when a thief stole her jewelry. Miss Orange was reading a book. Mr. Blue was watching the TV. Mr. White and Mrs. Blue was playing piano and singing. Mr. Black and Mr. Green was playing the card. Mr. Brown and Miss Gray was playing the billiard. Page 45. Check all the sentence, the match with the picture. I'm gonna show you the picture. So this is what the answer. This is number 5. Another teacher came into the room while the teacher was talking. 9.10 using while with past progressive. While plus subject plus verb is equal a time clause. Example, when I was sleeping in a time clause, while called during the time. While clauses describe an activity that was in progress at the time another activity happened. The verb in the while clauses is often past progressive. Exercise 46. Let's start. Combine the sentence, use while. I'm gonna take some example, like number 2. Someone knocked on my apartment door while I was eating breakfast yesterday. The other sentence, while I was eating breakfast, someone knocked on my apartment door. Exercise 47. What words begin each time clause and what verbs form in each time clause? Take example for number 1. While I was studying, the mouse appeared. That is past progressive. And then the B word, the mouse appeared when I was studying. That is a kind of simple past. And 11, simple past tense versus past progressive. Let's talk about the simple past. Describe activities or situation that began at and ended at the particular time in the past. The past progressive describe an activity that was in progress or was happening at the time another action happened. If both the time clause and the main clause is a sentence or simple past, it means that the action in the time clause happened first and the action in the main clause happened second. An example: first, it began to rain. The second, I opened my umbrella. Exercise 48. Making a conversation with the word have given using while and when. I'm gonna take number 1. Write on the board. Drop a book on the floor. So the sentence is, when the teacher write on the board, a student drop a book on the floor. Exercise 49. Completing the sentence. I'm gonna take 2 example. Number 2. When my best friend was calling last night, I washed the dishes. Number 4. I was eating dinner when my friend Jessica came over last night. Exercise 50. Combine 2 sentences to be a good sentence. I'm gonna take an example. In 1973, Bill Gates, he was graduate from Lakeside, and at the time he studied at Harvard University. Exercise 51. Complete the sentence with before, after, when, or while. I'm gonna take an example. Number 1. While Steve Jobs was attending high school, he worked for electronic business in the summer. Number 2. After he finished high school, he attended a Reed College for a short time. Exercise 52. Completing the sentence. I'm gonna take a few examples. Uh, Number one, while my cousin and I had a dinner at the restaurant last night, we saw a friend of mine. I introduced her to my cousin. Number three, when my cousin and I played a video game last night, my brother called me. He was on the highway and his car was out of gas. I bought gas and took it to him. Exercise 53. I chose the best completion. I'm gonna write of all of my answer on the file, and you can see next. So from here, I'm gonna just say what I have answered, a few of it. Number one, I was surfing on the internet. I heard a knock on the door. When I heard the knock on the door, I opened it. Number two, when did you talk to Jake? Yesterday. Size 45. Completing the sentence with the past form of the verb. Yesterday was a terrible day. Everything gone wrong. First, I overslept. My alarm clock not ringing. I woke up when I heard a noise outside my window. That is just an example. I gonna write all of the answer in the file. Exercise 55. Correct the mistake. Example. Number two. Yesterday I speak to Ken before he leaves his office and go home. Number three. I hear a good joke last night. Exercise 56. Reading and writing. Underlining the past verb. 1. I remember February 28, 2001 very clearly. It was the past verb. The other, I'm gonna write it in the file below. It's a lot, and I'm gonna take a few again. 2. I was at home with my daughter. She was a year old, and we were having lunch. So that is the few of my answer. The rest of them will be right on the file below. So thank you.